Hola, mi nombre es María Antonieta y curso el tercer grado de secundaria en el Colegio Bilingüe Anglo Español, y hoy les haré una interpretación en inglés acerca de María Antonieta. Hi peasants, my name is María Antonieta. I was born on November 2nd, 1755 in Vienna, Austria. I was the 15th and second to last child of Maria Theresa, Empress of Austria, and the Holy Roman Emperor Francis I. I received an education that was focused primarily on religious and moral principles. In 1765, Louis, the Fond of France, the father of my dear future husband, died, leaving the king's 11-year-old grandson, Louis Auguste, my husband, in other words, heir to the French throne. Within months, Louis and I were pledged to marry each other. Okay, let's visualize this. Can you imagine marrying a guy you don't even know? I mean, I wasn't even in love with him. What if I didn't want to get married? They didn't even ask for my opinion. Anyway, 2 years later, the grandfather of Louis sent a tutor for me, so he would teach me how to be a good wife for his beloved grandson. The tutor found that I was more intelligent than they had supposed, but he thought that I was rather lazy and frivolous. He was so strict to me, and he was always correcting me and telling me what to do and what not to do. We never really got along. I mean, I was only 14 years old, and I wanted to have fun. I remember that at that age, I was delicately beautiful, with ash blonde hair and gray blue eyes. Then, in May 1770, I was sent out to France to be married. I was escorted by 57 carriages, 117 footmen, and 376 horses. It was so huge, extravagant, and enormous. I loved it. I felt like a princess already. On May 16, Louis and I got married. I did not adjust well to marriage. I mean, I was clearly not ready for it. On the other hand, to the princess life, oh darling, I was born ready. Going back to the point, I used to write frequent letters to my mother, where I have to admit, I expressed a lot of homesickness. And I also used to complain a lot about the rituals I was expected to perform as a lady of the French royal family, like putting on my makeup in front of a dozen courtiers. In 1774, Louis succeeded to the French throne as Louis XVI, because his grandfather died, making me the Queen of France. My husband's personality could not have been more different than mine. He was so introverted, shy, and indecisive, a lover of solitary pleasures, such as reading and metalwork. In the contrary, I was vivacious, outgoing, and bold. They would call me a social butterfly because I love gambling, partying, and extravagant fashions. I never really understood him. Poor boy. When he would go to bed just before midnight, my nights of partying would barely start. And when I woke up just before noon, he would be at work for hours and hours. When my mother found out about this, she went totally crazy, and she sent my older brother Joseph to be our marriage counselor. Louis and I were fighting a lot, and my brother took care of that. I don't really remember his advices, but whatever they were, they worked. And a year later, I gave birth to my little daughter, Mary Therese Charlotte. In the 1780s, with the French government sliding into financial turmoil and the poor harvest driving up grain prices across the country, my fabulously extravagant lifestyle became the subject of popular ire. Countless pamphlets accused me of ignorance, extravagance, and adultery. Oh my God, I was so angry at this. Imagine being betrayed by your own people. How would you feel? I decided to calm myself down, and I soon realized that all these people were just jealous of me, because who wouldn't love to be me? 5 years later, an infamous diamond necklace scandal ruined my reputation forever. A thief posed as me and stole a 647 diamond necklace. She or he, I don't know, smuggled it into London and sold it off in pieces. Even though I was innocent, to the eyes of my own people, I was guilty. On July 14, 1789, 900 French workers and peasants stormed the Bastille prisons to take arms and ammunition. And that, my darlings, marked the beginning of the French Revolution. On October 6th of that same year, a large crowd gathered outside my palace and demanded for my husband and I to be brought to Paris. Louis acted almost shocked. He didn't know what to do, and I was so angry at him because he was paralyzed. So I had to step immediately into his place. I decided to meet with advisors and ambassadors, and I wrote urgent letters to other European rulers where I begged them to help us save the French monarchy. In the summer of 1792, with France at war with Austria and Prussia, the increasingly powerful radical Jacobin leader Maximilien de Robespierre called for the removal of the king. And in September of that same year, after a month of terrible massacres in Paris, the National Convention abolished our monarchy, declared a radical new republic, and arrested Louis and me. In January 1793, Louis was put on trial for treason and condemned to death. He was so innocent, and poor boy, he hadn't done anything but love his country. And he was dragged to the guillotine and executed. When I found out about this, I was completely sad. But not because he had died, but because it was my turn. And on October 6th, I was put on trial for treason, theft, adultery, and sexual abuse to my own son. Was it true? No. They were all lies. They just wanted an excuse to get rid of me, and there was no way I could prove my innocence. After 2 days of a boring trial, they accused me guilty on all charges. They condemned me to death. On the night before my execution, I wrote my last letter to my sister-in-law, Elizabeth, and I wrote to her, "Elizabeth, I am calm, as people are whose conscience is clear." Then, right in the moment before my execution, the priest told me to have courage, and I responded, "Courage? The moment when my ills are going to end is not the moment when courage is going to fail me." And then they cut my head off. And as I always believed, if it hadn't been for me, there would have been no revolution. Thank you.